Hey, everybody. Welcome to those tuning in to another episode of We Listen and We Judge.
Welcome back.
Today, we are talking about hustle culture. So, we've been over budgeting, we've been over mental health, we've been talking about traveling the world, as well as reaching our goals and getting our bodies together. Today, we're focusing on hustling.
Yeah, and just to put a definition on hustle culture for our audience, it's the mindset and societal trend that we should constantly be busy. We're overworked and we're prioritizing our professional goals over our personal well being sometimes. It promotes relentless hard work and putting in long hours to achieve certain goals. Now, you may have a different definition of hustle culture, but for me, my personal definition of hustle culture is doing what you have to do to get things that you want in life. And sometimes that requires extra hours, additional side gigs. I love a good side hustle, but sometimes hustle culture can be a little bit toxic. And so we'll talk about that a little later.
Okay, so that's interesting to hear. Why do you think it's toxic?
Well, I said it could be because you still have to have a work life balance. And when you think back to our previous topics on your wealth is health, and on mental health, think about how relentlessly working and putting in long hours and doing different jobs to bring in the money that you desire for your family can cause a little bit of burnout. It can also cause you to not be able to spend as much time with family as you desire. And then you got to remember, what are we working toward? And if you're not getting to do the things that you are working toward because you're constantly working, then sometimes it can cause burnout. Like I said, I love a good side hustle, but then thinking about how to balance the side hustle, the regular day job, and still have a quality of life so that it is not toxic. If you don't have a quality of life after doing all of those things, then it could be toxic. It could be a source of burnout, frustration, and then can cause some type of mental health, anxiety, depression, and the things that we talked about in our last episode.
Yeah, I think that is definitely true because as I said last episode, I related how not having money was a big influence on the depression. So I think I'm in the middle with it. I want to hustle because I know if you work hard, you can do the things that you want to do. And I need money. I love money. Not to the point where I'm going to sell my soul for it or be on Illuminati type of situation, but I do feel like I try to build my career and go after my goals to get to the money, but I'm tired.
Right.
I'm only 29 and I'm already tired. So I find myself being in between like, do I want to be a hustle hard mindset or do I want to go to the soft life and just find some man to take care of me? But I know deep down inside, probably I would not be the housewife type because I do have ambition to excel. And I've put a lot of work in a lot of things in my professional career. I feel like I did a lot to get where I wanted to go. A lot of professional development, a lot of networking, taking classes, learning, getting certificates such as the SHRM. Like I put in the work to get to where I'm going. It wasn't easy. It wasn't something I just stumbled upon. And luckily now I have a good salary. But I feel like I also want to do more. I'm looking at my goals I had when I was younger. And like I said, I want to write a book. Now I have to also say I'm wanting to do these things, but am I actually putting the action behind it? Not really. The podcast is taking up a lot of time and I like to do that too. But I feel like this is a hustle, like trying to get to where we want to go, trying to get more viewers, trying to market ourselves into the space of, monetization as a goal as well. Just because this is a hustle, it's fun, it's nice, it's a bonding exercise, but we also want to see it grow. So all those things that I want to do are also hustles for me. And I was just telling somebody the other day, I might need to get a part-time job And they're like, "Well, you can just put more hours in work." I'm like, "I'm not hourly, I'm salaried. We get a salary. We don't get overtime. We are exempt." So it takes up a lot of time as a salary person, especially in human resources. You get calls all the time. Even on the weekend, somebody needs something. You kinda don't just ignore it, you reach out. So I'm in the space where I wanna go harder, stop being lazy, stop telling myself, "Oh my gosh, I can't do this. I just need to watch TV," when I want to be out there in the entertainment space. I need to start watching it and actually start doing it. It's where I'm at with the hustle. But at the same time, I wanna enjoy life. I wanna breathe. I wanna sleep. I wanna just not think all the time. So that's where I'm at right now.
Well, when I think about having a second job, I enjoy my second job because it has so much meaning. It's a job where those who may have dropped out of school or was considering dropping out of school have a second chance and lots of support around them to finish a different environment, flexibility. So I really enjoy that, just seeing people succeed, seeing them win, and being a part of that. So it doesn't feel like a strenuous job because the result is so magnificent for others. And then, of course, the day job is grueling. It's a lot, but finding a good work-life balance, I think, is key. Hustling to just hustle and not be able to enjoy the fruits of your
Mhm,
labor, I think is what causes the burnout and the mental health issues and the strained relationships. Because you could work so much till, your family is left out to dry and you're not spending any quality time with your family, or you can do things that are inclusive of your family. Let's just say if you're a basketball coach, everybody knows that that takes up a lot of hours. Coaches, I know people fuss about coaching salaries, but the amount of time that coaches spend with kids really is peanuts when you think about what some of them are paid. And they don't do it a lot for the money. A lot of the times they're doing it because they care and they want to help children succeed. And they know that sports build tenacity, and it gives kids a chance to relate to others and learn from others and build it also builds leadership skills. And so when you think
mhm.
about coaching, that's kind of a side hustle because you do spend a lot of time with other kids outside of your family. So I suggest at this point you have to make coaching a family activity. Like everybody in the family will need to join in and love what's going on because that parent or parents, if both are coaching, will spend a lot of time away from their kids if the kids are not involved and engaged in what's going on. So when I think about side hustles, how inclusive can you be of your family too, so that there's not strained relationships from you being gone all the time or not being able to engage with them or tired by the time you are home and able to do things with your family. So I don't say that hustle culture is something that or the side hustle is not a good thing because I do feel like if there's financial goals that you're trying to reach, then a good side hustle can help you do that. But I do say always try to keep a good work-life balance so that the side hustle doesn't become something that takes over all of your time and energy.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I had a side hustle at one point in time. I think around 2019 is when I started having to hustle so I could pay my bills. So I started with AT&T in sales and it just didn't work out. At first, it was great, being in Dallas, Texas, being with a bunch of other young professionals. We had a ball, we had a great time. Texas is a good state as far as growing your career. Now their political views I cannot endorse on that end, but as far as like the state and the city of Dallas, it was a great time for a young professional to be out there and meeting other professionals and working. So I did really well, placed very high in the program because it was sort of a competition. So whoever ranked the highest would get the city that they wanted to be placed in Well, I actually wanted to go back to Atlanta. I had a apartment with my cousin. So that whole time I was out there staying in Texas, I was actually paying rent, like my half of the rent to my cousin because she was still there at Kennesaw State and we moved out to Woodstock. And I wanted to go back because I already have a place. Even if I moved closer, I would still be there until the lease was up, and then we decide, "Hey, we get a one-bedroom, blah, blah, blah." Well, I put Jacksonville as my 3rd option, and because other people also chose Atlanta, I was placed in Jacksonville. I was very upset because we were told that it would be by how we ranked in the program. So if I'm the number 1 person at the time, or probably at that time, actually, I was number 2. I got a good big sale after that and was number 1, and then on the last day, a girl got a huge sale, so I ended up number 2 overall. But regardless, they told us it's gonna go by ranking. So I'm saying to myself, "Hey, I rank really high. I should get where I'm going. Everything should be fine." No, they put me in Jacksonville. I was really upset. This is a turning point, and it's crazy now because now I'm in human resources, but at the time, I didn't really know, documentation, make sure everything's in writing, so I learned that lesson hard, and then I got there. Jacksonville, I lived there for 6 years. It's okay. The city is very underdeveloped to be the largest city in the United States. I don't know what they're gonna do to make it better, but it's just not a great city for young professionals. I think it's okay. There's a great food scene, but as far as things to do and places to go, no. I don't know what they've been doing this whole time, but they need to do more. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. So I became depressed during that time too. Just really sad. Gotta be here because this is where I'm at. And after about another 4 or 5 months, I just wasn't doing well. And it was either like, hey, we're going to terminate or you can quit so you can, come back. And I just went ahead and quit. So then that's when I got into Waffle House. But before that, I started substitute teaching just to see if I would like being a teacher. And no, um, I don't need to be teaching anybody's kids. Now, I was actually good at it. They requested me to come to multiple schools, and they also offered me a full-time job, but I just didn't want to do it for my own sanity. I don't want to teach people's kids. So during that time, I was working Waffle House and we had like a rotating shift because there were other unit managers, trainees as well in the program. So they would have us at certain Waffle Houses. I was on the north side, so I worked at that place, training to be the manager. Sometimes I would be myself. Most of the times I would be with the person who's already on the manager. You would work different shifts. So then I had time also on my off days to substitute teach. And I did that. That was a cool little side gig, but it was very consuming. And I would say substitute teaching is probably not the best side gig, especially when it's a Monday through Friday 8-hour role. You would have to definitely only work weekends or have a rotating shift, just like what I was doing. And then for a minute, I was working at Amazon for about 2 years. And I finally got a higher paying HR role because the HR role I got with Amazon, it was more entry level, very low pay compared to what I'm getting paid now. So there was no way I was gonna be able to do the things I wanted to do on that salary. And you couldn't necessarily get overtime either unless there was an HR person out and they needed somebody to cover. So after that, I got the job with Ecolab. I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay." I'm a little nervous because I'm still new to HR and this is like a higher role and I don't know how well it would go. So I decided to go to Amazon to see if I could still work flex shift just in case something happened. Not flex HR, they don't have that, but like flex as a picker because that's the last thing I did before going into HR. And it was like, yeah, sure. We'll just change it in the system. I was like, thanks, that's great. So I would work at Ecolab and then I would pick up shifts at Amazon on the weekends. And the thing about it is I wanted to wait until my 9 I wanted to wait till my probationary period was up because I took a contract and it was like contract to hire. So the only way I could go full time is if my manager at the time thought I did a good job and they wanted to hire me on. So I was like, I definitely need to keep this other job just in case. But I did a good job and she gave me the full-time position, but then I was like, "You know what? This isn't that bad. It's like a extra bit of money. I'll keep doing it." So I did it until December, and that was the last time I had a side job. Also because when I did my taxes, they told me I owed $3,000. So I was like, "Okay." No side job for me, like, that's crazy. After that, I also made sure to take an additional amount out of my taxes every year, so now I haven't owed since that year, but I did think I made that much money to owe $3,000, but
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. New tax bracket, honey, yes. The
Yeah,
IRS will get theirs.
yeah, so after that, I was like, "Okay, no, I'm not getting a side job anymore." So, since 2023, I've been just having one main job and trying to, grow my content creation and now doing this podcast, and also, eventually, I will finish my book and see where that goes.
Well, um, one thing that will reduce stress when thinking about a side hustle is something that will generate passive income. And I'm really
Yeah.
not well versed in passive income side hustles, so I'll have to do a little bit of research on that. But I thought about things like e-commerce type jobs. I
Mhm.
mean, some people have online gigs that they just check on here, there, and post every now and then, and those things generate a lot of passive income, and so it's not as stressful as actually physically having a second job. But I do enjoy physically having the second job, and I am able to prioritize family. So I can't really complain about my side hustle. I
Mhm.
mean, if when I retire, I'll still work. I won't work as relentlessly as I do now because I wanna enter into a partial soft girl era, as I heard you say earlier. I've been kinda grinding for a long time. I've been working since 15 years old, so I'm kinda ready to chill. I mean, yeah.
I think the other problem though is we just live in a capitalist society where everybody needs to be a millionaire, everybody needs to make a whole bunch of money. And I say this to even look at my own life. We can really get caught up on the shiny things and going places and doing this and that. And you just need money for that. Sometimes I have to remind myself the simple things in life are okay to enjoy. Your life is not over if you're not hanging out every night and you're not going this place and you don't have the hottest outfit, and I guess we can say social media has fed into that too. A lot of times people just talk about how expensive life is, but I also want to point out we are making our lives expensive too. The over influx of spending money on unnecessary things from TikTok, from Amazon, from Facebook, from Shein, from Temu, even like people who just go to Starbucks every morning is expensive. So if you actually look at what you can cut out, you realize, okay, you are doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I get that, and I was guilty of the $5 coffee every day, and I had to scale back because I thought to myself, "Yeah, do you really need this?" And so I decided instead to start going to the grocery store and getting the hibiscus tea
Mhm.
because that first of all, that's better for my kidneys, because
Mhm.
caffeine is not very good for people with high blood pressure. So if I do get a coffee now, I go to Starbucks and get the decaf latte, but I try not to do that every day. I try to scale back maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, and you do save a lot of money when you scale back on things like that. And you're right, I think social media has played a big role in glorifying hustle culture and making it seem like we have to be busy all the time doing things that's gonna generate money. I don't wanna be rich, but I don't wanna be in debt. So
I don't I don't think it I don't think it glorifies having to be busy. I think it glorifies you need to live like a certain way. Because even with those people that are super wealthy, they don't necessarily showcase their busyness, but they showcase like the certain things they buy. Like it's always bling 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 in my opinion. And then it's like, okay, well you have to make a lot of money to have the bling bling bling, but do you really need the bling 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 is what I'm saying. We glorify like fashion designers and a lot of time they don't even want black people to be wearing some of the things that they have. But they'll market using, like, a actor everybody likes or, a singer everybody loves. So now you wanna go get that collection because your favorite singer and your favorite actor is branding it. But in reality, why are you trying to get this? Do you even make the money to buy this? And I'm not pocket watching, but I know for myself, when people ask me about certain things, like I'll never forget, I had just got a raise when I was at Ecolab, and somebody was like, "Oh, so you're gonna go buy a Benz now?" I'm like, "Why would I do that?" I still have my car that I've had since I was 16. Like, I've told people, they might think I'm lying. I don't do the huge purchase thing. I just don't. I'm not finna spend if I wanna spend my money, it's gonna be something I really want, and I don't even like to drive, so why would I buy a expensive car? If I could spend money on something, it would be to have a chauffeur so somebody else can drive for me because I hate driving, so
yeah. Well, I can't really speak on designer stuff because I don't buy designer, but I will say I do see a lot of videos where, people are talking about having a side hustle, passive
mm,
income, side uh, side jobs, different streams of income.
mhm,
So I think there's a way to do it. Even though I brought up the toxicity earlier of being overworked, strained family relationships, and things like that, I think there's still a way to do it where you don't have those things. It's just
mhm.
researching what's best and doing something that's fun. Because I've heard people often say, if you're having fun at work, then it's not a job. So I don't know. I'm not always having fun, so I don't know.
Ah,
But
that's what they tell you when they want you to come work overtime. Like, "Yeah, we'll do some fun. We'll do some team building so you guys fulfill
no, really,
so
I
great."
think the quote is, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, I think is the real quote. But,
And that's some BS.
I
'Cause
mean,
it
I
don't
get what you're
matter.
saying.
It don't matter how fun it is,
It's
it's still work.
perspective. It's really perspective because somebody who I think played sports and are able to be a coach later on and impact young people's lives, feel like they're having fun. Like, I know there's challenges and I know sometimes they get sad and things go left, but for the most part, I think overall it's a rewarding career and I think it's a passion for it. I feel like you have to be passionate about whatever you're doing because if you're not
Mhm.
passionate about what you're doing, then burnout will come faster.
I agree. I do think you have to have a passion, like, for what you're doing. I have a passion for helping people, but it's still work to help people. We
Well,
can
a
have
job
all
ain't
the
nothing but work.
we can have all the fun that we want, but it's still gonna be work.
A
Yeah,
job ain't nothing but work, period.
exactly. So that's why I'm saying whoever said that, they were literally just, like, "Hey, we need you to come in today." And
No,
the person's
I
like,
don't
"I
think
need
so.
the day off." And
I
they're
think
like,
the
"Well, if
premise
you love your
behind it
job."
is to do something that you love so that when you're
Mhm,
spending that time doing it, it really wouldn't feel like a huge burden because you love what you're doing. And I
yeah,
stand by that though. I feel like even in education, you should be passionate about what you're doing. You need to
mhm.
love it because it's hard to do hard work that you don't love.
Yeah, now I do agree there are some certain jobs where you do actually have to have a full-on passion for, because you can if you don't get too many days where you can hate it, and that is working with kids because you can leave a lasting impression on it. That's
Correct.
also being a doctor because you could kill somebody with your negligence. Like, those type of positions, yes, for sure,
But I
but
feel like if you move with impact in any career, you can have a lasting impact on somebody. Even if I was on the line at Briggs and Stratton doing the same thing over and over again, I feel
mhm,
like my attitude and what I exude to the public can have a lasting impact on people. People can come in having a hard time and you can change their day with a smile, a word. You just never
mhm,
know. So I feel like whatever you do in life, my mama used to always say, be the best at whatever you are. And I feel
mhm.
like whatever you're doing, if you're the best, being the best at that, and you do it with love and you approach it with positivity, I feel like you can impact those around you. I really do.
Yeah, that's for sure. And you could do that without working too. I think that's more of a personality thing. Like, a lot of people are drawn to others when it comes to just being out and about. And those are the people that kinda, get far in life when they know how to make an impact without even trying too hard. Just some people have it, some people don't. Depends on who you are.
Mm,
But yeah,
right.
overall, I'm like halfway in, halfway out when it comes to hustle culture. I think I need to decide if I'm gonna be all in or all out with it. But that's one of those things where it just depends on the day for me. Some days I wanna do it all, some days I don't wanna do anything.
I respect that. I love a good side hustle. I do find days of rest and I don't feel overworked in the side hustle. Now, sometimes at work, I feel overworked because it's just a lot going on all the time and it's a lot to do. But doing the things that I love still keep me sane, I guess, because I'm passionate about the work.
Mhm.
Now, do I want rest and reprieve from it? Absolutely. That's called retirement, and I am barreling toward that. But I do feel like even in retirement, there's some things that I can find to do that I would enjoy, and I want to explore other careers and just I, I don't want to go as hard as I'm going right now, but I still want to work and still have some impact and influence on people.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm at the point where it could go either way for me. It just depends. I'm getting to that 4-year mark. Next year will be 5 years. And I'm starting to see how people get burned out with HR because you deal with people emotions all the time, and then you deal with tragedies, you deal with people going through cancer and death, and it's just a lot of other people's emotions sometimes too. So you don't always get to check on your own emotions, if that makes sense. And then regardless of what day it is, you could already be talking to like 500 people on a Tuesday because everybody needs help.
Yeah.
But
And it
it,
just depends on, what role you're in any organization. Sometimes there's people that people depend on. And if you're one of those people that others depend on you, then you have to find a place of recharge, refresh. A lot of people use a good church service for that to get recharged and refreshed and get ready for the next week. Some people use friendship circles. Others just use relaxing, silent time to recharge and refresh.
yeah, but it does take some time to realize if it is something that you want to do for your rest of your life. Because sometimes it also is about like, this might not be the best fit. There might be other careers that work better for what you want to do. So I think part of the hustle culture is realizing like what hustle is best for you. I don't think that you have to go through life doing the same career if it's starting to run you down. I
I
think
agree.
there's times where you have to look at it before it's too late and make a change. And honestly, I would say it's never too late to. Even if you're like 30 years deep, if you find something else that might fit your passions, go for it.
I'm thinking Walmart greeter. Like, I would love to just stand there and speak to people and make them feel good.
All right. Anyways, we're going to talk about what we're listening to today as well. Right now, I'm listening to Sexy Salome by Mana Leo. I will say she is a very hardcore rapper. She's bringing back that hard punching kind of Little Kim vibes, if I may say so. Now, if anybody's watching it, they might be mad about that, but Kim was really hard when she came out, and I feel like Mana Leo is kind of reminded me of that. I love the rap girlies. I know everybody who's tuning in, they're like, "Oh my gosh, why is she listening to so much rap music?" And I like rap. I like R&B too, but I really like to support the female rappers right now. So that is what I'm tuning into right now.
Well, I am still listening to the leadership podcast. It's 4 different sections, and I'm on 4 now. I was on 3 the last time we talked. The 3rd one was about just telling people the truth, having courageous
Mhm.
conversations, and being honest with them. And then the 4th one, I'm just now getting into with leading the organization. So stay tuned on that one. I hadn't had time to listen to that in its entirety. So I want to kind of wait, but this is still Craig Rochelle Leadership Podcast.
Okay. And then as far as also watching, I am going to be watching the Aces versus the Suns today. The first game was really good. It was going back and forth. The Suns were shooting the lights out, so I really thought they were going to pull it off. But the Aces came back and did what they had to do. Shout out to Dana Evans. She put up 21 off the bench. So, and I think for a while I was not watching women's basketball, and I'm gonna tell on myself. That's bad to say because I used to play, but also I think a part of that too is because I fell out of love with the game as well. And so I enjoy going to the NBA games, but I'm seeing like the women's sports is doing really well and they're not necessarily getting the respect they deserve. So I'm trying to tune in, do more. And I think next year I'll try to catch a WNBA game too to see what's going on for myself. I'm hoping they get what they deserve. I know they're trying to get a better contract going into the 2026 season. So I say good luck to them. And if you like basketball, tune in. The game's at 3 o'clock today. Well, actually, by the time you watch this, the game will not be on. But if you can catch a game in the series once you see this, check it out. And I'm rooting for the Aces. Love Audra Wilson. So,
Um, well, the last episode I heard that Abbott Elementary was back out, so we will be watching that this
mhm.
evening, getting back into that. Glad it's back. I hadn't had an opportunity still to watch Reasonable Doubt. That's been on my list, but every weekend it's been something to do. And if you remember from the first episode, something to do every weekend is not my thing. I'm ready to not have things to do on the weekend. I'm ready to chill. So hopefully next weekend I will have time to catch up on Reasonable Doubt. And I also need to get into what was the show that I needed to finish watching or even start back watching? Let's see, Abbott Elementary, Reasonable Doubt. Oh, coming back soon. I don't know if a lot of people watch this, but Force is coming back. I just kind of got all into the Power series. And so a lot of people didn't like Force, but I do. And I like watching Tommy Egan. And he's also on Reasonable Doubt this season. In fact, what's his real name? I can't remember his real name. You don't
I don't
know?
watch that.
Yeah, because you don't watch gangster shows. That's right.
Mm-mm.
But anyway, getting back into Forest is coming up in the next few weeks, so I'll be able to talk about that because that's what I'll be watching then. So to this evening, we'll we'll watch. Abbott Elementary, getting back into that on Sunday evenings. And then, we're still watching A Place Called Home. It's 5 seasons, so it's gonna be a minute on that one.
Yeah, I need to watch Reasonable Doubt. I've missed it. I usually watch it as soon as it drops. I don't really like binging anymore unless it's an old show. So I like to be up to date. Also, because I'm on Twitter and people will spoil it. So, and actually, the craziest thing about me is I actually like spoilers, but also when it comes to shows like Reasonable Doubt, I don't want that to be spoiled because I want to see if I'm right about what's going on. Because there's always like kind of a mystery when it comes to Reasonable Doubt. You want to figure out who did it, who done it. It was this person. Yeah, and this one is a big mystery. So I think I know. I have a hunch, but I guess I need to go watch last episode to see if I'm a little bit closer to it.
Okay.
Well, we haven't gotten any questions from you guys, so I guess you have your life together and you don't want to be judged. That's okay.
Wouldn't wanna be either.
but, but thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on We Listen and We Judge.
Take care.